The issue that has come up is that the taxiway in front of the hangars is inaccessible to anybody who has a standard certified aircraft because there's no way to get out to the runway. Ned did try to do us a favor by putting together a taxiway behind the new hangars. And that is only accessible by a few planes, but still, once you get through there, the roughness of the terrain going out to the runway itself does not work for planes like Jim has, and mine, I can't even get behind the hangar there. So we are locked in place and cannot get our planes out at all at this point if you have a certified aircraft, which is a lot of us. The notification that I received, I don't know when it actually went out, but the notification I received on Thursday while I was playing golf. By the time I got out here the following Sunday, I guess it was, I couldn't even have moved my plane down to the parking area. Not to mention that my plane's worth like, I don't know, $150,000, $160,000. I am not too happy with parking it out on the tarmac in the weather conditions that could exist this time of year. So mine's in the hangar. It's not going anywhere until the taxiway is paved. And I've not seen, and I've been kind of tracking this, not to complain, but I'm tracking this over the last 5 days. Absolutely nothing has happened. So we look at that and we go,
What's going on?
what's going on? Who's in charge? How do we increase this? We know that the Kapowson group has full access to the runway. We can't get to that taxiway, so we can't get over there to use that taxiway. I don't think that's quite fair, but understand that was done. If the main taxiway had been paved, not fix the whole program, but early on, if they'd taken more consideration on doing the main taxiway first, everybody could get out. So now we're stuck with, there's what, 110 or 11 planes over there? About 85% of them can go nowhere. So we'd like to know what kind of resolution we can come up with for opening up to allow us to use our airplanes. That's kind of where we're stuck.
Do you want me to?
All right, well, we'll go ahead and address that. You know, have the.
I have maybe some answers. So, yes.
Today, when we were out there, of course, we're talking to the worker bees.
Yeah.
And we say to them, well, hey, how's it going, guys? And Marty gives them water and, you know, everything we can to make sure that they know we're not.
Energy drinks.
Bribery.
We're not out to kill them, but we want to bribe them into doing something.
Yeah.
They said October 3rd is not even going to happen.
So I just verified with Brandon minutes ago. He talked to the construction manager, who said no, paving's on for the 29th and 30th. It's scheduled. So I don't know who he is or who's saying what, but it's still on schedule. I was hopeful that it would happen earlier than the letter indicated. We did send a letter in July that indicated the phases, and it talked about this phase, and I mean, who's reading that?
They talked about this phase, and I read all that and said, okay, we'll get some sort of notification when it's going to close. The notification I got for closure was within days of closure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're kind of at the whim of the contractor at this point, and unfortunately, I mean, could it have been better? Probably. Unfortunately,
we just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
When can we use our planes again?
Yeah.
And you know, right now, the other thing that's just tears you up as a pilot is the best weather we have had for flying is right now.
Yeah.
You know,
And
cooler
I
air,
think the trouble is, and as Jim and I talked, the biggest trouble is you can only pave in this weather too. So you know, it's like a catch-22, of course.
We understand that. One other thing I'll share with you is my neighbor owns a paving company.
Yeah.
Commercial, does work for cities and states and that kind of stuff. And I asked him, I said, 500 feet of paving, tear it up, have problems, how long does it take to do it? He said, 4 to 5 days.
Yeah. I don't know
I
nothing
said,
about
well,
paving.
what if you run into major problems?
Yeah.
And he said, give me a couple more. He said, it's really not that difficult a task to get that paving done if the weather is cooperative, which it has been, which is good.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so.
And I can't speak to their schedule. I have
I'm
no
just giving you
idea.
information right
But
now,
yeah.
that's all.
Well, I have a question about that. Don't we tell them what we want when we let a contract?
We do, but we also have to adhere to, I mean, we have to deal with the lark. So we had to deal with waiting until the lark season, the nesting season's over. So there's different things that we have to piece together,
But now, that's all taken care of.
That's all done now, but that was partly why, things couldn't maybe happen in a different order. So we kind of piece it together as we rely on them as the contractor. We rely on Century West as the engineer to help us piece this all together. We're always going to make someone unhappy, I think it's unfortunate, and I guess I don't know what to say besides that. I wish that Ned's, it was a great idea to let some people get behind the hangars. But yeah, it just kind of is what it is. If we want to better our surface, it has to happen at some point.
So could we ask you to put a little more pressure on them to get it done sooner?
I mean, I think we could. I don't know that it'll matter. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I already told Brandon you guys were sitting in the room, so yeah.
That would be a request that we have to see if we can, I've run 8 different companies and I
Yeah.
know that I can move things around sometimes.
Yeah,
and make
see
it
if we
work for
can,
me. So, yeah.
yeah. And here it is, it's the 17th, so if we could get them to speed it up, I don't know. Again, I don't know their schedule, I don't know what else they have,
And
but,
I'm not the engineer, I know Brandon is, and you can talk to him
Mm-hmm.
about all this stuff, but I look at this and go, for us to taxi, we don't need striping, we don't need lights in place. We
yeah.
don't need
If they could just get the surface
Just get
down,
the
yeah,
surface down.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
And while they're doing some of those things, if they want to do that while we're still open to taxi, we'll be more than happy to accommodate them as far as making sure we don't run over anybody.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
any problems like that.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, let me see what I can do and I'll get back to
Also,
you
the other
guys.
thing, every day later in the year, the chances of weather going bad on us.
On them as
Increase.
well.
Yeah.
So,
So will you would you be willing to make a phone call to Wendy and the crew here in the next couple of days and double check on what the contractors are up to?
No, I'll get back to you, but
Absolutely.
it probably
Thank
won't
you.
be, I'm leaving town tomorrow, but we'll get back to you, Brandon, or someone will get back to you,
Yeah,
so
we
we'll,
get-
we'll answer.
I think you got my number.
We have your number. Yes, Bruce.
All right.
Yeah,
can
we'll
we get our
get back to you.
temporary taxiway smoothed a little bit?
Oh, that's the other
Oh.
thing. Behind the hangar,
The backside?
yeah, the only time we'd ever want to be on that kind of ground is when we're having an emergency and an engine's quit, okay?
Right.
It's so rough getting through
Rough,
there.
okay.
That, for example, Jim's plane has much smaller wheels than I. If I could get through there, I could probably be okay. His has much smaller wheels and it bounces, it's not.
I can
Yeah.
get you there, but I'm not happy about it.
I don't know
Gotcha,
what they could do
okay.
to smooth that out.
If we just smoothed it a little bit, it'd make a
Yeah.
big difference.
You know,
I mean,
Is it dirt?
I don't know that you know this, but
Behind?
all
Yeah.
the asphalt that they took up, they paved themselves a road out in the back to get into the gate that's up there by the new
Mm-hmm.
hangar.
Nice.
Would have been nice if that would have been out to
Yeah, could have been your, could
Redirected.
have been your yeah.
them. Just thought of that.
Gotcha.
That little roller we'd be done. you know,
Yeah, yeah.
90% of it, so, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
all right,
Yeah,
appreciate
we'll
it.
get back
Thank
to you.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so very much.
Oh.
Can I just follow up on that too? I'm Arnie, Bruce already introduced me, so I own property out here and I've got 2 airplanes out on the field. And I guess my concern is, along with the other pilots, but why there wasn't accommodations made or any sit down or discussion with any of the group of pilots out there. I haven't seen Brandon out there, I've never seen Brandon out there on the job site, as the engineer of the project. And I'm just curious to why there wasn't any accommodation for the over 100 pilots that have airplanes out there in the hangars. It just seems to me, I'll just mention it, it seems to me that the Kapowson had access to their taxiway for their business. They didn't skip 1 hour or minute of business revenue, but the rest of the pilots, and I'll just use that term lightly, it seemed like it was a big middle finger to all the other pilots out there that don't have access to the taxiway or the runway. I'm just really, it's unfathomable that all of these pilots out there don't have access to taking off and leaving at their disposal.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Sorry
happened.
about
That's just a consideration for discussion later, I was.
Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
just
Well,
don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
I appreciate, we all appreciate the sentiment of all the pilots.
Well, we try our best as a group, and Jim and I kind of are maybe the spokespeople for the pilots out there right now, and we try and keep it as calm as possible. And even when Kapowison comes to me all the time and it's like, well, you guys aren't doing it, and we're like, give us a break, we'll have a little discussion. We have the WPA organization now that Jim's the president of, and I'm part of that group, and we try and keep a lid on the emotions, and it's not easy, just so you know. And as you well know, pilots can get a little feisty.
Well,
So
you have
we're
good
trying to keep
reason,
everything
yeah.
calm, we're trying to make sure we have open communication with you
Yeah.
folks. And that, if there's something that comes up on our perspective, we would expect you to talk to us as well. And that's why we're here to talk to you and talk about, hey, we're not happy with what happened. Is there some way we can move this forward quicker? And we need to have something to go back and tell the troops, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
That we had this meeting with you folks and that there is some things under consideration, so.
Yeah, for sure.
That's, I'm done.
Well, I'm sure that Wendy will be talking to Ned and seeing if we can
Yeah.
at least smooth out what we've
Yeah.
got back there
Yeah.
for
We can
the
start.
other, for a start for the other planes. For the time being, we got another 2 weeks and we should be set.
That's more than 2 weeks.
Well,
Well,
that's true.
If what you said is true, it's 2 more weeks out.
Yeah.
I had a commitment I had to cancel, which is also a little,
Right. Well, thank you.
It could start raining and not stop till next year. And we've seen that happen.
It's true,
before.
yeah.
I'm worried about every day
Yeah.
that we wait.
Yeah.
Okay,
And as you heard from the pilots, I did get indication that, according to our, conversations with the contractor, they're on schedule. So the 29th and 30th is planned paving. I will reach out to Brandon after the meeting and just see if we can push along or what we can do. And then, of course, Ned to see if there's something on the backside. That was never going to be a secondary access. That was something Ned kind of formulated on his own. So, now there's people that can't get their bigger plane, it may have created more, more information, more hassle, I don't know, just that some people can go that
Right,
route and others
right.
can't. That was just, oh, well, maybe this is an option for you, so,
emergency contingency for the future, in
Yeah.
case there's a need for that,
Yeah.
will still happen.
yeah, I just don't think that all the planes fit there is the biggest problem, but,
You guys had
October.
anticipated this problem, though, that while they were paving, there was gonna be some people stuck?
Yeah, there's,
Stuck in
yeah,
the hangars.
and that was,
Okay.
that was the whole time along, we've been, sending that message.
Okay.
So that's been throughout the project. It's just up until the point of when they know their schedule and then it's like a few days before, and oh, hey, by the way, coming Monday. So unfortunately, that doesn't help.
On the use of the taxiway, using a taxiway that's unmarked, unlighted, unpainted, what's our liability?
Yeah, good question.
I know the pilots say we're happy to use it
Yeah.
without any markings, but where does that leave us?
Well, I mean, this taxiway runs in front of the hangar, so probably not in a horrible position if we could lay the surface. I think the biggest problem we'll hear from the contractor would be that they don't want to engage and then disengage, so they're not going to want to, lay the paving and then move off site, let pilots go, and then come back and paint and that kind of thing. So I think that's probably what we'll hear more. It's not gonna, but yeah, it could be, that could be some kind of,
Yeah. Chairman Taylor, I would advise that if you knew or should have known of a risk or an inherent problem and you
Yeah.
don't give notice, then you have assumed some liability. and you've been put on notice, and then you've been advised that they were going to try and use it when it is not in fact appropriate or completely fit for that purpose on potential exposure and liability. You have insurance, and that's the reason you have insurance, but still, it creates risk.
That was my point in bringing it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can avoid that, you want to.
Again, I don't know if it's even a possibility to let them out there any sooner. You know, the schedule is the schedule. I don't know if we're able to,
Right.
you know, get in the middle of that, but
Okay.